Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning. Thanks for joining. Happy Sunday morning to you guys. Trying to make this a normal occurrence. Pardon me for Sundays. Hope you guys are having a safe Sunday. My wife and I were actually able to get out yesterday, which was really nice, and do some walking, do some driving, and getting out of the mundane stay-at-home orders that we have here in New Jersey, which are anyway, which are pretty restrictive. That's cool, Hillman. Good to hear. Yeah, I'm sure, like me, you're anxious to get out too, it's a strange world that we're living in. But anyway, today we got the Aerobas DA-62 Diamond, one of my favorite planes. Really cool plane. We're at Roanoke. VR Aviation, which is the group that I run, owns this airport and a bunch of surrounding FBOs. So we're going to be flying here. Just recently updated to 11.50 beta 6. And flew yesterday in the California desert. I've got a couple FBOs near Yucca Valley and was getting 45 frames per second, which is great. At medium object setting and high graphic settings. So that was pretty cool. But here at Roanoke, I lowered back the object settings to low, and I'm getting about 22 frames per second. So doesn't seem like much improvement here with Beta 6, but I've kind of resigned myself after my rant last week to sort of just get on with it and fly as it is. What can I do? I got a decent system. I think I've got it configured pretty well. I complained last week quite a bit about X-Blade, and I think it's probably just time to stop complaining. It's like kind of like first world problems, if you will. So in any event, without further ado, what we're going to be doing here is, let me just switch to give you an idea what we're going to be doing here. Give me a second here. Trying to get this desktop here. Give me 1 second. I'm having a little bit of a problem. For some reason. All right, here we go. Well, you don't want to see that. All right, so we're going to be going from Roanoke to Marks Municipal at Clarksville. Here's my flight. Got 6 passengers going out, 6 passengers coming back. 80 gallons of fuel, and make a little bit of money for flying for a VR Aviation. Make a little bit of money for those guys. So let's get back into this. By the way, say hello in the chat if you would like to say hello, and I'd love to hear who's in there, and let me know if you guys are hearing everything okay. Hopefully everything's good. So let's get in the cockpit here. All right, so again, we're in the DA-62. Let me get my flight plan loaded up. Going to W-63. I have all my flight plans like preloaded. All right, so I know we're gonna fly probably at about 4,200 feet, and then we're gonna come down to about 2,000 to land. So let's get to this on. We don't need these pumps on. Nav. And we're going to go 800 feet per minute. And get our flaps to the first position. And we should be good to go. All right, let me see. Let's get up in the air, then we can do some chat. Check out the systems. Let's see, rudder's good. Brakes are good. Ailerons are good. Elevator's good. Okay, good. All right, rev this up to 88. And let's get off. Hopefully we won't see any stutters here on the runway. I'll let you know. So far, pretty smooth. That's pretty smooth. Very nice. I mean, a little bit of stuttering, but manageable. I don't know if you remember last week, or I think I posted on the Facebook page. Rotate. Gear up. Flaps up. Yeah, I mean, it's still getting a little bit of stuttering, but I think it's definitely better. All right, let's get yaw damper on and autopilot on. We'll get up to 4,200 feet. This plane cruises about 165 knots, which is a nice, quick, light plane. Pardon me. Here's the airport back there. It's a beautiful area to fly, Roanoke. So if you're in FSEconomy, hit by KROA and do a couple of flights there, help out the group. That'd be awesome. All right, so we're getting ourselves here situated on our coordinates. 77 miles to the first waypoint, and then we'll turn into Marks Municipal. Everything looking good. Probably just juice up that engine a little bit there. Let's see how it's in the back seat. Always love the view from back here. Pretty cool. Get over here. One of my favorite planes to fly, that's for sure. But that's pretty smooth. I mean, I'll give it a smoothness. I mean, if I look out the window here, I'm seeing a little bit of stuttering on the left side. On the right side, it's always less noticeable because you got this, you got a lot of drawing in the foreground here that makes the background look much smoother. Same with the front because you got the console. It's always going to look smoother. But when you look right out here without anything in the middle or in front of you in the foreground, you could start to see the stuttering. I don't know if you guys are picking it up on the Oculus mirror that I'm broadcasting, but I'm seeing basically stuttering. Now again, I've got objects on low, texture and graphics on high, not the max, high. I've got no AI aircraft, and I'm running Vulkan in beta 6, so Looking okay. Thank you. Mikey, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Thanks, Hillman. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think I'm kind of sorted there, Mikey. I guess as best as it can be. Right now it's running 22.3 frames per second, which I guess is reasonable. Um, I guess is reasonable. But yeah, so anyway, so that's I upgraded to 6. I redid my preferences or beta 6, I should say, and when I was flying California, it was pretty nice. There was really literally no stuttering. But when it's over the California desert, so there's no trees. There's not a lot of scenery to draw on, and I'm using ortho. So you know, it is what it is. It's more like when you get into the Northeast here, or the Mid Atlantic, where you've got lots and lots and lots of trees and stuff, just bogging down your CPU. You know, um, I try to figure out a way. I look into turning trees off because I really don't need them, but I wasn't able to get that to work. So I'm going to research that. Maybe if I do that, it'll make things a little bit better. Doesn't have to draw those trees. I'm using line of distance. Is that what it is? Length of distance at 60 miles. So that helps too. But again, I'm not going to get into a rant, but I run up like iRacing. I've been using iRacing or playing iRacing quite a bit. Same configuration. I've got iRacing's graphics absolutely maxed out. Everything, even like the sky and the crowd, everything maxed out. It runs amazingly. My GPU never goes. The 1080 Ti never goes above like 65%. The CPU never goes above 45%, and it runs absolutely smooth as silk, amazing. So I know that's a different graphics set. I know that X-Plane and Flight Simulation, they have a lot more graphics to process. I totally get that. But by the same token, it's kind of it would be nice if the promise of Vulkan was a snap of the finger better, I guess. But I'm not complaining. I think it's fine. It's working. We'll see when I land what kind of landing we get here when we get to Marks Municipal in Clarksville. It's a pretty fairly wooded area. It's got some good structures, and we'll see how that goes. I did find that there with the Diamond 62. If any of you guys fly this, there is a setting. If you go into the Diamond 62 settings, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this if I pull this up here. Oh yeah, you do. Okay. You go into this where it says there's a setting on here called G1000. You have to go in there and you got to turn the mouse off. When I did that, frame rate jumped like 20 frames per second. So they've got some. You got to make sure you do that if you got the Diamond DA62. I was going to make a video on it because that really amazingly helped out, which was cool. So, what are you guys doing on a Sunday morning here? Where are you guys located? I'd like to hear where you guys are from. I'd also, if any of you guys running Beta 6, I'd like to hear how it's working for you. If you're running it, I'm running it in VR. If you're running it in VR, I'd love to hear about that. Um, Eating breakfast. Nice. Working on your Jeep. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, today for me, it's going to be a little bit of flying, a little bit of racing. And then there's this really cool site called Jam Kazam. It's basically online jamming. So if you're a guitar player, musician, guitar player, bass player, drummer, keyboard player, whatever, and you've got an audio interface and a decent internet connection, you can go on this website, JamKazam, and get on there. And there's tons of people on there jamming, which is pretty cool. So I'll be doing that a little bit later. So you're waiting for a stable release. Yeah, I think actually, yeah, I mean, if you don't have a second system set up, I've got a second X-Plane system where I run the betas. I don't recommend going beta unless you have that second system. But you know, 6 has been pretty solid. I've used it about 3 or 4 times now, and probably for about 5 or 6 hours, and I haven't had any crashes, which is good. I'm just wondering, because when I tried it in 2D, and obviously, well, not obviously, but the frame rates are so much higher than they are when you're in VR. Understand that VR is a lot more processing, but maybe Laminar needs to optimize their VR implementation. I don't know, because it sure does run well in 2D. It runs great in 2D, actually. So I could see why all the people that are running in 2D are happy. But all in all, sitting up here at 4,200 feet, it's a nice experience, Can't really complain too much. Scenery looks good down below, all ortho, so. Graphics on the plane look good, nice and crisp. If I really look closely, I get the micro stuttering, but, maybe it's time just not to look too close. I went through this phase a long time ago when VR was first coming out for X-Plane and others. This is the days of Fly Inside, and when we were waiting for Laminar to release their native version. Every day was a tweak, and we were complaining about this and complaining about that and this and the other thing. And then I reached a point where I was just like, I'm turning the frame counter off and just flying. It got to the point where it was just, ridiculous. Yeah, well, VR needs 90 frames per second in the headset. So that's, but that's not what they're producing. I think what they're doing is they're producing 22.5 frames per second, and they're upscaling that. So I think that's why you kind of see things locked at 22, 23. It's either going to be 22.5 or it's going to be 45. So in California, I get 45, and it's completely streamed. I mean, completely smooth, California desert. Here, I'm getting 22 and a half, and you get a little bit of judder, if you will, or jitter. I'm not sure if it's judder or jitter. I think it's judder with VR, and it's jitter with voice. Definitely jitter with voice. But anyway, the problem I was having last week was when I was flying near Roanoke, I was only getting like 11 frames per second, and that was unbelievable. That was completely ridiculous. Now I'm starting to cycle down to 16, 17, 18. I know I'm frame watching here, so it's it's probably changed over an ortho um, panel, if you will, or whatever, and now it's drawing all the trees, which is why it went down to 19. That's my guess. Now we're back up to 22 and a half. So yeah, I think it's, they've got this problem with the way that or not problem. I think a lot of has to do with um, Laminar's design. It's going to be interesting to see when Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 comes out, and it's going to be interesting to see how their graphics are. I mean, it's not going to be VR at first, so they say. They're thinking about VR, but it'll be interesting to see. It's going to present certainly some competition for X-Plane, especially if they start to implement some of the real world stuff like, as mentioned before, GPS and communications. Yeah, Hillman. I've watched a few videos. I haven't seen anybody post any videos, any alpha testers post any videos. So I don't think we're, you've talked to people. All right. Well, a lot of people have posted. They say that they can't really say, but they're very impressed. That's all about this. That's really all they say, which is great to hear. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, I hope that they have GPS, full GPS navigation, and I hope that they have communications and comms, because if they do have those two things, then you could use it like in FSEconomy, or you can use it in Pilot Edge, and then of course VR. If it doesn't have VR for me, it's not usable really. But the word that I heard is that they know that people want that, and it's on their roadmap. Probably won't be first release, but I would guess that maybe a company like Daniel Church at Fly Inside might spin up the code that he has for FSX and see if he can apply that to the new one and do the third-party VR thing. A lot of people would probably be into that. If they can get that to work. I wonder what he was working on a flight simulator. Those guys were working on a flight simulator. I'm not sure if that's where that project is. I'm sure it's very difficult, considering you've got Microsoft coming out with their system, their new system. But yeah, people can't post videos, that's for sure. I'm anxious to see it. I think they say like the May, June, or end of May was the release, something like that. That's what I remember. So, I'm definitely gonna buy it, even just to fly in 2D, just to check it out. Yeah, I know, Mikey. It's very. I can't go back either, but from time to time I do, just to test things. It's very hard landing in 2D when you land in VR. Landing in VR is what makes it so special, because you have such situational awareness with VR because of the depth that you can basically, I never crunch a landing, I've done thousands of landings in VR. Maybe that's part of it, the experience, but it's so easy to see things that it's, I tried landing in 2D like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I can't do this. It's insane. All right, we got 33 miles left to go here to our GPS point. About 38 overall. Making good time. Let's see what time was. We got 11 minutes to our GPS point. Probably start. I'll start to decrease the altitude at about 20 miles. Let's see let's do things right here. We'll figure out which airport we're landing, or which runway we're landing at on Clarksville. Let's see here. Lake County Regional, that's what they call it, eh? Is that right? Lake County Regional. All right, so we got, what are our runway options? Let me just show you guys what I'm looking at here. All right, so Lake County Regional, W63 or Clarksville. What do we got? I think we're coming in from the north. I know we're coming in from the north, so what's our runway options here? Where the hell is it? Zero 04. So we're just going to come direct approach to 04. Just reading this through here. So we would set our, well, let's see if we can get, CTAF is 12290. 118.225. Let's see if we can set that. We'll assume the letter. So we're gonna be landing on 04. Actually, no, 22.2 because we're coming in from the north. Sorry, my bad. 22, runway 22. Be coming in that way. Here's the air. Oh wait. Yeah, 22. Pretty sure we're coming in 22. Here's a picture of the joint. Nice little airport. Alrighty. Alright, so let's see where the hell we are here. 21 miles. Let's start getting down to about 2,000. Go down slow, 400 feet per minute. Pretty sure we come in over a lake on this one, if I remember correctly. Sorry guys, just looking at something here. Give me a second. Yeah, we're going to be landing on 22. Yeah, thinking about that. Who could go back to 2D? Oh, God. I don't know how those guys do it, man. All right, so we're slowly heading out. So we're going to be. Where's my. So we're going to be 122. Let's just see what my. One, two, two, 9. And our AWAS is, what is it? 118,225. Come on. The radio controls are a little touchy on this G1000 in VR. Come on. I don't have plane command on, so I got to do it manually. I haven't been using plane command. I've been using, trying to just control things in VR. 122.25. See if we get AWAS on here. Nope. All right, let's skip her back to. We're gonna call Clarksville. Oh, that's interesting. I got this button on air traffic control. I see. All right, Clarksville traffic, Diamond 328 Tango Delta. We are approximately 12 miles west of the field. We'll be landing straight on approach runway 22 for full stop, Clarksville. All right. 2,000 feet. Oop, I just hit the rudder there. Sorry. Pretty smooth. I mean, I would say it's definitely better than 4.1 at this point. I think Laminar's done some things here. They've made some good improvements. Let's give them the props. Here I am. I'm on low objects. Okay, now I'd like to be able to run medium objects, but I'm not complaining too much right now about stuttering. Now let's see how it is when we get back to Roanoke, because that's where I was having the problems. But the takeoff there was pretty good, so hopefully the landing will be pretty good too. All right, so we're going to be making a hard right turn here into Clarksville. Check and see if we could see that airfield here. Yep. I think I see it right there. All right, here we go. We'll let them know at 5 miles. Clarksville traffic, Diamond 328 Tango Delta. We are 5 miles north of the field at 2,000 feet. We'll be landing straight into approach, runway 22 for full stop, Clarksville. And there we go. All right, so let's take control of this bird. We'll get our trim set. We'll start to throttle back here. Clarksville traffic, Diamond 328 Tango Delta on final for runway 22, full stop, Clarksville. All right. Let's get the first flaps and the gear down. So far, pretty smooth. No stuttering. Very smooth, actually. We got the field in sight. We are on final. At 1,000 feet. Really smooth. All right, nice. I think I might have to give Beta 6 a VR blessing so far. Using the Rift CV1, i7 6700 CPU, 1080 Ti, EVGA 1080 Ti, graphics card, 32 gig of memory, just to give you guys an understanding of what I got. All right, nice and full flaps. Got to land over this building, which is a little precarious. Whoever designed this airport put this building right here in X-Plane. I'm not sure if this is there in real life. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I didn't see it on the picture. There's 22. Nice soft landing. Beautiful. Flaps up to medium. And let's just roll her out to the end here because we'll be taking off to the north. Now I'm getting this little stuttering here, you know, like you could see like the lights going by. Runway lights they're not very smooth. They're kind of juddery, but that's okay. We're just going to do a turnaround right here. All right, we're on 04 now. All right, we're going to be ready here to go. Let's get our brakes in place. We got to unload our passengers in FSEconomy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I thought that was a pretty good landing. All right, so we're just letting these guys off. Loading up the people. And we got our people on board, so we load it off. Yeah, it seems pretty smooth there, hybrid. Seems pretty smooth. I mean, like I said, when you're rolling down the run, I'm expecting, like I will tell you, like in, let me get on the road here again, or in the air, I should say. So let's get our, we're going to fly at 4,200 again. And we'll get our climb rate at 800 feet per minute. And we got our flaps to 1. We got everything in place there. We're GPS. We're making a hard left to go back to Roanoke. We got plenty of fuel. We got our passengers on board. All right, I don't want to do that. Clarksville traffic, Diamond 328 Tango Delta, departing runway 04 to the north. We'll be turning left, flying out of the pattern towards the west, climbing to 4,000 feet, Clarksville. All right, here we go. Nice. Start there, it's nice and smooth, and then you start to roll. I mean, it looks okay, like if you're looking right in front of the plane. When you look to the side, that's when you get the stuttering, you know. And it's like the landing lights, the runway lights are, I'm kind of like not really center aligned here. 75, let's rotate up. I'm trying to do 3 things at a time here. Okay. Kind of committed, so let's get the gear up. Everything's good. We got vertical flight. Flaps up. We cleared the airport. We'll come out here. We'll hang a left here. Clarksville traffic, Diamond 328 Tango Delta. Turning left to the west, climbing to 4,000 feet, departing the pattern. Last call, Clarksville. All right, good. So let's get our autopilot on and head back to Roanoke. I mean, that was a pretty smooth takeoff. You know, in a little. Again, I'm kind of like nitpicking, right? So, like, what I was going to say before is when I fly the Challenger, the Challenger 300 jet, that plane seems to be really optimized. Okay, so when I fly that and I roll down the runway, it's smooth as silk. Or the Cirrus jet from Laminar, it's smooth as silk when you're running down the runway. Everything looks smooth. The buildings going by, the runway lights, everything looks smooth. Plane like this, or even like the C-172, the Laminar plane, sometimes you get that stuttering as you're rolling down the runway, right? In the air, I mean, right now, there's micro stuttering, but I can live with that. Okay, so maybe my expectations are too high. I don't know. Could be. You know, you were always seeking to have it as close to real world as possible, I guess. So expectations can be a little high, but I gotta say I'm pretty satisfied. All right, so now we're back. We're heading back now. Yeah, it seems to be okay. A hybrid. It seems to be okay. We're gonna test it when we get back to Roanoke, because last week when I was flying this same plane in Roanoke with low object settings, it crawled down to like 2 frames per second as I was landing, and I wasn't running anything. Right now I'm running OBS, I'm running Oculus Window, I'm running Streamlabs. I got a bunch of stuff running right now. So I'm putting some tax on the CPU and the GPU, but it seems to be going okay. You know, it seems to be going okay. But hey, I appreciate you guys checking out the stream today. Well, here's the thing, man. I don't use weather at all, because I don't use clouds, because clouds have that horrible ground shadow jitter or flickering, which in VR is just, I don't know how to get rid of it, and I can't deal with it. So I don't use any clouds. Even if I do like really high level cirrus clouds at like 20,000 feet, you still kind of get the flickering sometimes. Ortho, I'm running all ortho right here. All of the Northeast for me, from from up and down the coast of the U.S., from the Atlantic Ocean to basically the Mississippi River, is all ortho for me. So I got a lot of ortho, and in the Northeast here, where there's lots of trees, it seems to be okay. I was saying before, I'm not sure if you were on or not. Yesterday I was flying. I have airports in FSEconomy in the California desert, near like Yucca Valley and near Las Vegas. So it's all like mountainous desert there, and that I yield 45 frames. Absolutely amazingly smooth. Let me go back. So when I went over Las Vegas, I was flying high over Las Vegas. I did get some frame um, reduction, but aside from that, it was pretty good. Use ultraviolet with reduced ground shadows. Oh, all right. I'm gonna have to check out ultra weather because I cannot take. Is ultra? You have to pay for ultra weather? Because it would be nice to have some clouds in the sky. You know, I don't fly real world weather. I'll tell you that. Once in a while I do, but usually I don't. I'm a fair weather flyer. All right, I'll check out. Let's check out ortho weather. Oh, sorry, not ortho. Ultra weather. Sorry, let me just check that out here. $35. So you use this in VR, huh? Just curious, what kind of system do you have there, hybrid? What GPU and CPU are you using? Just curious. The other question I have for you about ultra weather is, can you control trees? Okay, so you got a eighth generation. Okay, so you got a pretty fast GPU or CPU. I've got a 6700. All right, so I got the same graphics card. Does ultra weather allow you? Because I was just looking at it, it says it allows you to control a bunch of different rendering things. Can you control like trees and shit like that too? Or is it only weather objects? This is why I miss streaming, because you guys come in here and you got all these great ideas, and I learn a lot of shit from you guys. It's awesome. No land objects. Okay. $35 is totally reasonable. I'll probably give it a shot. Um, but you can control the amount of weather. Like if I want to like run light weather, I can do that, right? Is it is it only synthetic weather, or does it interface with real time weather? That's the last question. Sorry for all the questions. There's this new app. By the way, while I'm waiting for you to answer that, I just reminded myself of this new app that I saw that came out. If you're into Pilot Edge, I forget what the hell it's called. Let me see. Pilot Edge posted this on Facebook yesterday. Um, Basically replacing X-plane clouds. Okay, so it uses X-plane weather, so that means you can use real time weather then, right? All right, so you turn me on to that. I'm going to turn you on to something new here that I found out about yesterday. Okay, it's called Aero Nav Map, and it runs on iOS devices. Aero Nav, AERO Nav Map. It's an app that runs on iPhone or on what do you call it? iPad. And it's if you're into Pilot Edge, it's integrated with that, or it's got some integration with that. So I put it on my iPad last night to check it out. I'm looking at my iPhone now. Arrow Nav Map. So I'm just pulling it up here. It's got like yeah, Arrow Nav Map. Yeah, check it out. It's free. You can pull up VFR charts and shit like that. I'm not sure if it's got a moving map yet. I haven't really checked it out totally, but I use Flight Plan Go, which is free. I was using 4Flight, but I didn't feel like paying $100 a year anymore for it. So I went to Plan Go. But this one, I was looking at it last night, and it shows you if you're on Pilot Edge, which I'm thinking about getting back into. It shows you where all the planes are on Pilot Edge, which is pretty cool. Aero Nav Map. That's exactly it. Runs on iPad or runs on iPhone. Check it out. But I'm not sure if it's got moving map. I have to configure it with X-Plane, make sure I got it set up properly and all that. I'm just looking at it right now. Give me a second. Well, it's pretty cool. But I'm trying to... Yeah, I'm looking over like the California area, and I could see planes moving. Pilot Edge planes moving, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if I need to be connected to Pilot Edge or not. I'm just when the plane on Pilot Edge starts transmitting, the map will center on it. Oh, okay. So you have to be. It'll only center on Pilot Edge planes, which is actually pretty cool. And you can do layers like VFR charts. Terrain. You can do terrain or satellite, whichever you want as far as the charts go. Check it out. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure if you can bring up the airplane chart. That would be awesome. Let me see if we could do that. Oh. Wow, you can click on an airport, and then it brings it up, and you can click on procedures, and you can look at the airport diagram. Boom. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure if you could do that with Flight Plan Go. But again, it's really when you're connected to Pilot Edge, so. And it's free, which is nice. Always nice when shit's free, right? Alright, so now I'm going to have to try Ultra Weather. Because you're telling me you reduce ground shadows to 30% and you got no flickers. I got to remember that. Reduce it to 30%. So that gives you the ability to reduce ground shadows by percentages, which is finer detail control over weather, which is what is really cool. Let's see where the hell we are here. All right, 37 miles to go. I'm not going to request permission from Roanoke because, you know, there's nobody there. It's not real world. So, and I usually fly GA anyway, so. But I'm thinking about getting back into Pilot Edge. I think I love flying in the California desert. I got some nice properties out there, FBO properties. I want to learn more about, get back into communications, and it's a nice system. So, thinking about getting back into it. Pilot Edge and iRacing, that's my gaming. I love iRacing. I'm a total noob, but I've got a Logitech was it 902 wheel with pedals and stuff. So, and I've been racing. I don't know if you guys are into iRacing, but I've been racing the Mazda series, which is the entry level. Getting good at that. I've done a couple of races. Haven't finished in the top 3 yet, but finished 4th one time, which is good for me. There's a lot of really good racers on there. What's really cool is now because there's no sports on television, Fox 1 and other places, NBC Sports Channel, they're like, last night they were broadcasting iRacing, Indy racing, and there's like pros and stuff driving them, which is pretty cool. They do every Wednesday night, they have iRacing on Fox 1, Fox Sports 1. Like Dale Earnhardt and Junior and all these NASCAR. I'm not a big NASCAR guy because to me it's just like left turns all the time, but I like road racing better. But anyway, it's pretty cool that these guys are on there, All right, I'm going to definitely check that out, Hybrid. I really appreciate the heads up on that. So I got to ask you about your name, Hybrid Cockpit. Do you have like a cockpit set up in your house for VR, or just curious about your Twitch name? Is that a hint for your flight setup? I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty satisfied, man. I think it's. I mean, I'd like to be able to do LOD at 100 miles. I tell you what, let me see if I can increase that. Let me just go in here. I'm going to go to weather, and I'm going to increase that to just 75. What does it do to frames? Nothing. Yeah, Hillman. The F1 drivers are much better, man. It's a completely different class. I love F1 racing. I really miss it. Oh, you got a 737 cockpit. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Hillman. I was thinking about buying F1 2019 as well. That looks really good. And what Charles Leclerc was racing on there the other night. Was he on iRacing? No, he was on F1 19. And Emerson Fittipaldi's sons race on there. They're very good. I haven't seen anybody else from the F1 squad on there, but that's my jam as far as racing goes. I watch every F1 race. I think they're awesome. Those cars are freaking amazing. Holy crap, those cars are amazing. with the regenerative braking and all that. It's just, you know, completely revolutionized. They're hybrid cars, right? So they never gas them. They run the whole race on whatever gas they put in there. Just amazing, amazing, amazing cars. But yeah, so I was thinking about getting F1 2019 because that's a one-time price, $60. You own it, right? iRacing, you got to pay for a monthly fee, and if you want to buy a car, you got to pay $12. It's like, you know, bum 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 bum. They keep hammering at you. I might just keep iRacing because I really, you know, again, I'm not gonna compete. I don't have the time to put in to become an expert at driving. So if I get really good at the MX-5 Mazdas, I'd be really happy if I could win races there. Um, so, but F1 2019 looks like a solid game. Race room. What the hell's race room? Race room? Oh, race room video. Okay. Race room. It's free? All right, well, there's another one. There's another one I just learned about. Race room. That looks more like Forza, like amazing graphics and detail and stuff. Try before you. Okay, so you got to. I guess you got to buy cars and stuff. Multiplayer. Okay, it's got multiplayer. Rate. Wow. All right, so let me ask you a question. So you've seen iRacing. I'm not sure if you've used iRacing, but yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a problem. Well, here's let me address VR racing first, and then I'll go into asking my questions about race room. I can't drive. I can't race in VR. I get sick. At least with iRacing. Now, I used to be able to drive in projects cars without any problem, but whenever I try to drive in iRacing, I get sick. I get, you know, I like even like the Mazdas, you know, which are they get up to like maybe 100, like maybe 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour. I get, I start going around the corner and cars start coming by me, and I start getting that pukey feeling after a few laps. Again, that never happened to me with Project Cars. I was always able to race in VR on Project Cars, or drive in VR on Project Cars, no problem. Except one time when I tried in Project Cars, they had this kart racing, you know, those small carts, and I tried that, and I got all pukey. So, but for iRacing has been a bomb for me. So you've done some iRacing. So let me ask you a question: race room compared to iRacing, which would you? How would you rate the two? So Mikey, so I'm thinking that in iRacing, I'm getting sick there because the frame rates aren't just keeping up or something in VR. Usually that's what gets me. Like if it drops below like 85 frames per second, I start to get sick. So I'm thinking that that might be the problem. I don't know. When I run it in 2D, you know, I have a 14.4 really high end monitor. It runs at 100, like 160 frames per second, no problem. It's pretty optimized, so think I'm getting 90 frames in VR, but for some reason I just get pukey. All right, I got to get down here, so let me get down to 2900. Now look at see this. Look, we're starting now. That might have just been a frame change over to. But we're definitely starting to get stuttery here. See that? Look at. Can you guys see this on Oculus mirror? That's what you're looking at when you see what I see. Can you see that? Getting stuttery. Let's go outside the plane. See that? That's stuttering big time. Yeah, you guys must be seeing that. Look at that. Again, I have objects on low. Even inside the cockpit as I move around, it's stuttering. Yeah, pretty bad riding. Pretty bad driving on there. I agree with you. And right now I'm one of them. Single race player and some older racers. Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, I'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind. All right, so just for explaining purposes here, so we're quickly going from 22 and a half down to 15, 22 and a half down to 15 as far as frame rates go. 14, 15, 14, 13, 12, 16. So now we're coming into Roanoke. So it's probably doing the drawing of the Roanoke Airport, and now it's going down to 17, 16. So we're getting some really, really, really bad frame rates here. This is the problem. This is the problem. And we're getting this nasty stuttering. Roanoke is right over there. My guess is it's drawing the airport and the surrounding buildings, and that's what's causing the problem here. So I'm going to slow down here. Making our turn into Roanoke. It is really stuttering. Look at that. Look at that. That's bad. That is bad. This is the problem I have, guys. This is the problem I have. It's, you know, it's to the point where it's almost stop and go. Almost quite, just not quite, but almost stop and go. And look where I am. I mean, there really is not a lot of rendering going on here, right? I mean, there's an airport over there that's rendering, but I mean, it's mostly mountains and friggin' trees, for Christ's sake, right? Should not be like this. All right, let's get our fix on where we're landing. There's our runway right there. Okay, I just want to take a look at frames 17, between 15 and 20. Yeah, you're seeing what I'm seeing. You're seeing what I'm seeing. So look at that window. You see how it just. This is my life. That's my life. Now, this happens when I'm running no other applications too. So it's not like, you know, running these other applications is causing the problem. Sometimes it'll be so bad, like when I'm approaching, when I'm about, you know, 500 feet away from the runway, it'll literally stop and go. Literally stop and go. All right, so we're slowing down now. We're just lining up. Now, what I want to do is, after this one, I'm going to switch to California Desert, and I'm going to show you the difference. All right, so let's get our gear down, flaps down. Start to slow this plane down. Take a look at frames real quick here. We're just about 18 to 20 around there. It's not as bad as last time when I was going down to 11 and 10. But you could see, I mean, it's a little better here. But that airport is not really built out yet. It's still in the process of rendering. I guess I could see the tower now there, so it's pretty much all built out. I mean, this is okay now. It's better now. But when I was getting all that judder before, it was probably because it was building this out, right? I mean, come on. Is it that inefficient? What is there? 12 buildings there it's got to draw? Maybe okay, let's add those in. 20 buildings it's got to draw and it reduces the frame rate that much? Again, I'm like my background is software engineering. Come on. Seriously? It's got all those stupid cars there in the parking lot. What the hell do I need those there for? You can see the judder. All right, there you go. All right, what I want to do is I want to show you what it's like to fly. I'm gonna change out to Yucca Valley, which is my other airport. You can see here, I'm just taxing. Look at the stuttering. Look at the stuttering. See that? That's what I get all the time. I'm just moving slow here. Go to place of any. Thank you. Thanks, yeah. But did you guys pick up? I'm going to go back and watch this video after I'm done streaming here. I'm not sure if you guys picked up on the same thing as I picked up on. But I'm going to move now to Yucca Valley. Let's see. Change location, favorites, Yucca Valley. Customizable land. We'll go that way. Start a new flight. It's going to take a few minutes here to load the flight up. So enjoy that while it's happening. No, it also judders with the laminar planes, dude. It'll happen with the Cessna. I know what you're saying. I've tried every plane. Oh, nice. From Munich. Okay. Didn't realize you were from Germany. That's awesome. Yeah, it happens with the laminar planes too. It's just a um it to me it seems to me like it's all right. Take care. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate that. Hybrid. Thanks for the information and for tuning in. It just seems to me that it's got something to do with object rendering. I think it's all about object rendering and inefficient use of the CPU. My belief is that the Code and X plane doesn't properly utilize later generation CPUs, hyper threading and multi-core and all that. I just don't think it's optimized. I think they made a good step with Vulkan because that reduces some bottlenecking between the CPU and GPU, but the bottleneck in oh, you got a Facebook group? Let me just check it out. Hybrid Cockpit. I will join your group, man. Feel free to join our group, which is I'll show it. I'll put it in the thingy here. The VR Aviation Group. If you're not a member of the VR Aviation Group, here is the link. Please join it. You probably are already in there. So let me ask you a question. Does X-Plane take this long to generate a new flight? I mean, it literally takes eight to 10 minutes. I'm still waiting to, as you can see here, I'm still waiting to get this plane over to Yucca. It just takes forever. I know, I'm the same way, man. Why is that? Why does it take so long to load? Yeah, DCS is that way too. You know, again, I don't know. I've never seen the code of X-Plane. I've never seen the code, but I gotta question whether it's optimal or not. Certainly from a CPU optimization perspective, I gotta question that. But what the hell do I know, right? I'm just uh, I'm just a user. Now, what I want to do is I want to. Oh, I brought you to VR. Awesome, cool, good to hear that. Yeah, I'm sure it changed your life, man. Once you start flying in VR, man, it just makes things so much better. I guess it's been about 3 years for me, maybe longer. I'm still using a CV1. I never bought the Rift S because I tried it on and it was uncomfortable. My head was sweating, and I don't know. I just never bought one. I'm hoping that Oculus develops their own like a CV2 with their own design, the cloth design that we love so much. You know, um, I also heard that the audio on the Rift S is awful. Finally, okay. Now let's see what we got here. This is an issue because I have to load up some graphic things, but I will tell you that um, I'm getting 30 frames per second right now. You left all the old stuff behind. Yeah, because the one that you don't have ortho on and stuff, it comes up much faster. I think that's got a lot to do with it. All right, so I'm getting 30 frames per second here. So the max I get 32, 33 frames per second. The max I got in at Roanoke was 22 and a half. So this is already well above that. So I'm going to set a quick course here. And we're going to fly to one of my favorite places to fly. We'll fly to Vegas. Then I go straight shot right to Vegas. And I go up to about 78,000 feet. because you got some pretty big mountains around here. We climb at 8, and we got plenty of gasoline. Now let's check out the difference here. Now we'll probably get some starting on the runway. Let's see, just see where we are here. 30 frames per second. You know, maybe I should use the OBR tool. I use the Oculus debug tool. Maybe I should go to the OBR tool. Do you have to use Fly with Lua with that? Because I've always had issues with Fly with Lua. Maybe I should just friggin' break down. You fix it at 27. Yeah. All right. Well, I may just start doing that. All right. So here we are. We're going to rev it up to get our engine load to 88, which is right where I like to be. Flaps to first position. Set our trim for takeoff. And let's go. Now it seems it's definitely smoother than landing at Roanoke, but still a little jittery, but manageable jittery. Now this morning when I was flying here, I was getting 45 once I took off. So let's get up in the air, get to altitude, and I want to see if that's the same. Because if it's not the same, then there's another issue. That means there's like a memory leak or something. All right, so this is going to... We're going to climb to 8,000. All right, frame rate's going up to 32, 33. I'm expecting it to get up to 45. I mean, obviously, the higher you get up in altitude, the better the frame rate because it's got to draw less shit. But the other thing is, remember, I'm going to decrease length of distance back to 70 or 65 where I had it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so you just run Fly with Lua and OBR tool. That's it, right? Because I remember when I tried Fly with Lua and it just screwed everything up. Maybe I got to take an afternoon and monkey around with that. So here we go. We're getting up to 4,500. I'm getting micro stuttering out of the left window. It's definitely not at the frame rate where I was. Now it's getting up to 35, 32, 35. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. So when I first booted up X-Plane this morning, Beta 6, I flew out of Yucca, same configuration, same plane, the same route, and I was getting 45 frames per second right here. Okay? Today, right now, after I flew in, I did one flight at Roanoke, right? The one I just did before. Now I went back to the same airport where I was getting 45, and now I'm getting 31, 32, 30. So it's 15 frames per second less, and I didn't change anything. Wonder what that is. I wonder what that is. Seems pretty odd to me. Let's see what happens when I get up to altitude. Maybe I'm misremembering. So if I get up to 8,000 feet, I should have definitely be getting 45. I'm at 6,000 feet now, so there's an interesting thing. I'll repeat it again. This morning, out of Yucca Valley, same plane, same configuration, same place I am right now, I was getting 45 frames per second. Then I went and flew in Roanoke, the one you just saw. Then I changed back to the same airport, Yucca Valley, took off in the same exact spot with the same GPS, everything the same. And now I'm getting 32, 30, 30 frames per second. So 15 frames per second less. It makes no sense to me. The only difference is that I wasn't running OBS and stuff. I wasn't running OBS, I wasn't running Streamlabs, and I wasn't running the Oculus Mirror. I'm just going to turn off Oculus Mirror for a second, so you guys are going to go blank for a second. Let me just see what happens. That didn't change a thing. Huh. So why the hell is that? Now I'm down to 28 frames per. Why is that? So the curious thing is, if I reboot, I'm not going to put you guys through that, okay? If I reboot and start out Yucca, if I'll get 45 frames again. I mean, it could be OBS causing it. Maybe. I don't think so, but it may be. I don't know. It's perplexing. Like I said, I could spend, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours tweaking shit. Or I could just fly, which is what I want to do. Now we're hitting altitude, 8,000 feet. I mean, from here it looks smooth. It's always going to look smooth from here, but I could definitely notice, like, a little stuttering in the cockpit. Anyway, perplexing. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to take off. I appreciate you guys watching the stream. It's been real, and I appreciate your feedback for sure. I'm hoping that I could straighten out things out. But again, my new attitude is going to be, not to get too jazzed up about it. But I'm definitely going to try OVR tool with Fly with Lua. Implement that. And Ultra Weather was the other one that I learned about, which is awesome. So thanks for that. Guys, hey, listen, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to tune off now, and we'll take care. You guys take care and be safe, and practice social distancing and all that. And have a great day. Take care, guys.